Mm. Hello and welcome to my stream. I am here. Hello. Hi. Here's my desktop. Or, you can't see my desktop, but that's fine. So, last night, I was not working on that. I was working on this. And I had started a CSV parser. I did a little bit after the stream ended. I'll try to make it parse tabs. It doesn't want to parse tabs. I need to get my test file. I want to see if it works with commas. That test file. So here's my test file. I'm going to replace the tabs with commas. I don't think Notepad has a find and replace, so I'm not going to bother with that. Just replace all that with commas. Save it. There we go. Okay, so in theory, so this sort of kind of works as it is. No, I want to edit that. Edit this, please. So commas will actually work for this game, though I was hoping to set it up with tabs, because tabs are not usually things you use when you're writing like dialogue, and then you could use it for dialogue. There we go. So return 21, 22, 23, and then 21, 22, 23. So again, it returns temp at the end, and temp is going to be the line. Or well, it'll be that in the end. I think I can just use this now. So now return G1 and then G0. And I don't even need that because G0 is like a loop variable. No, I do need that. Go back. Go back. I do need this one. Loop equals X. Set this. Right, then we output temp. And hopefully that works. It returns what's it need to return? 22. I think I have it set to 2, 2, 2. So it's going to return 20. It might return 23 actually, because I have it set to start at 0. I think. This is not correct. That's the right line, but it's not the right value. Let's break into the debugger here and there. I don't think I need to break into the debugger there, or more so, I don't need to break in here. And I'll break in here. Alright. so we hit loop. So we're checking to see, does loop equal x? That loop is currently 21. Oh. Oh. Hold on, loop is the value. So wait, G0 is the index in the collection. G1. Oh. But this should still set that. The issue is that it doesn't set the right one because we're not at the right value. Because apparently loop takes the value from the collection when you're doing a collection loop. Okay. So that's interesting. Which means the temp never gets set because loop never equals x. I see. And also there's still a z parameter, and I don't need a z parameter. But now, if I set G0, if G0 equals x plus 1, that will be the correct value, I think. And let's also remember to turn that off first of all, but remove the z value because I don't need that. There we go, remove z. Alright. Okay. So it should return 22. Or well. Yeah, I guess it will. I'm not sure I want it to return 22 though. That's using a different numbering method for each, for x and for y. Yeah, because numerically we're starting from 0. So I could do G0 minus 1. Let's not to figure the future. No, I can't find it. Is this right? Is this G0 and X? I just responded to a thing on Discord, don't mind me. G0 equals X. I think we might want X minus 1. Or is it X plus 1? Or is it G0 minus 1? I don't remember. G0 is 1. When X is 0. So if G0 is 1, X should be 0. So X should equal G0 minus 1. I think. Variable loop. Then I suppose that's at G0 minus 1. In theory. See if it returns the right value. I might have it wrong. Return 22, which is... This is set to 2, 2. So it should be returning 23, I think. No, so it returns G0 when G0 minus 1 is equal to X. Because this is the index in the collection. And this is the theoretical value, which is 1 too high. If we're starting at 0. So, yeah. This should work now. Should return 23. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Alright. So... Okay, so why did I want that again? I wanted to use a spreadsheet to hold my enemy data, right? Stats and whatnot. I suppose we'll throw together a quick file for stats. Let's say we have an enemy, and I will call it. Let's use an ID. Got enemy 0. And enemy 0. Where do we want to go in? I think we probably want to go in. I don't know what stats we're going to have. We're going to have speed. That's standard, I guess. No reason to do anything really special, is there? I don't think so. Maybe we got 10 attack and 5 defense and 7 speed. And then it uses AI script. What AI script? Maybe. I guess I'll just use AI script 0. I probably should have had the file structure brainstormed by now. That would have been a good idea. That's alright. This will do for now, I suppose. We can do that. I can have 1, 5, 10, 3, 0. suppose we also probably want the sprite, the enemy sprite. Probably name as well. If we're getting all this data out of here, may as well include it. So if this is the format, we'll have the name, and then the sprite, I guess. The name could be the same as this sprite, but I need to have underscores, so no. We'll have the name and then the sprite. So the name of this first guy is test 1. And the second guy is test 2. Wowzers. And if we're doing metadata at the end, I'm going to do stat at the end, I think. Do metadata in the beginning. So then the sprite is... Sprite for number 1 is going to be... Test enemy 1. And this guy is going to be... Test enemy 2. No, 2. Thank you. We don't have the AI script, which is 0 in this case. Alright. So in actuality, I would use, I'd put all this together in a spreadsheet, but not right now, because I'm lazy. So, shrink this down a little bit. Let's keep it on the side, I guess. Oh, I can't do that. Actually, I can. Never mind. No, I can't. I don't have TurboTop running. No. No. That's fine. That's okay. I just won't be in the corner. Right. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to say, when we start battle, we're going to have a list of enemy IDs. And we're going to say, in this battle, we're going to have an enemy with ID 0 and an enemy with ID 1. And the game will place them in places. And that'll be nice, I guess. Should I specify the position in the event? I feel like I should not. I feel like I should not. But yes, begin battle. Just sprite, remove that. Don't want that. So what's the max number of enemies we're going to have? I guess 4. Well, can I have more than 4, really? I think I have 5 spaces in the turn list, but I could really do more than 4. I don't need to be limited to that. I think I can have more. Well, it's a rendering based on the collection, though. I think we'll just stick to 4. Unless I'm going to look if I can set this to only render like 4 values. Columns 1, so X and Y. So how many spaces are there? We got 5 spaces. I only want to render 5 values, but I want to have more values in the collection. I suppose I could. Well, one name could have multiple could have multiple entries in the list. How was I gonna set that up too? It was gonna be IDs. There's gonna be an ID for every enemy. Or each enemy in a battle would have a number assigned to it. And then I can reference those to know which enemy is which. So I could have multiple of the same kind of enemy as well. That means I have to cross-reference my collection values, which is difficult. That is difficult. That is very difficult. I could use a small table for this. It's not an awful idea. I suppose then I could sort it based on the speed stat in theory. That's not a bad idea. Just have a small table. That's not an awful idea. Can you dynamically add and remove things from tables? I think you can. Table. Delete table row, yeah. Fill table, well, fill table. Sort table row. Or column. Is there an add row? Sort row. Actually, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Numerical. Ascending, right, okay. That's not quite how I want that to work then. I could do 2 separate collections, where one collection just has a subset of the other collection. Not an awful idea. That's actually probably the best idea. So this will just contain this collection, and I don't have to change it. But there will be a second collection that actually contains the full turn list. And then I can have as many enemies as I want. And I suppose we'll say a maximum of 5 when you begin a battle. If I need more at some point, I can make a custom event for that. Or another custom event. I'm already making one. No, I don't want to edit the script. Enemy. Let's capitalize this. Enemy. 1 ID. This is going to be a number. This is going to be the number that we look for in the CSV file. So we're going to say enemy 1 ID. Enemy 2 ID. No, enemy 2 ID. Thank you very much. Which is also a number. I don't think I'm going to use text for any of them. I don't think there's a point. That one didn't add the underscores. I suppose I haven't hit add yet. Do I need anything else for each enemy? Everything's going to be in the table early. I just need to point out the enemy. I could include the positioning. This is true. I could do that. I could also attach that to the enemy file. But then it's not quite right if you spawn multiple of the same enemy. I probably should include a position setting. I could also do 3. And I might want to include frontline, backline settings. Maybe we'll just do that. We'll just say frontline and backline for each enemy. And then it can be positioned automatically. I could also include a comma delimited list of enemy IDs, because I could do that, and I know how to do that, and I could just use that for I could just use that for the enemy list and have as many as I want. But then I also have to have a value with the frontline backline data. Well. That's not an awful idea. I don't think I'm going to do it though. I am going to include frontline, backline. So enemy 2 ID is going in there. This is going to be enemy 1 position. 2 ID. Enemy 2 position. I guess I'll include a 3rd enemy just for now. I can have the rest later. Enemy 3 will be a backline enemy. And maybe just in the first one even, I'll include a front line or frontline 1 or backline. Do I do 1 or 2? Can I do like a true or false? Toggle for 1, toggle for yes. Ooh, I can do this. This is a good idea. Toggle for 1, front line. Text for 0, backline. I also could include distance, but I really don't want to bother with that for the enemies. I just want to do that for the player characters. Yeah, this should be alright. Set that on all these. Alright, frontline, backline, okay. Let's save that real quick. There we go. I could also consider including a timer for timed battles, but I don't think that's necessary. If I want to do that, I think I can do a like a status effect or something. Alright, so custom event script panel. We want I suppose we want to start with so I want to find the row with an index, and then I want to be able to take things out of that row. So I want to be able to say in the CSV table, in the row with in the row where 0, 1, or in the first column, the row that contains the number 0 in the first column. Yeah, I want to be able to reference that row in that way. I don't think this includes that functionality. I can search for a specific X or Y. But I can't look for, well, if I'm just using numbers, then I could say, well, I want enemy with the ID 1, and presumably I'm going to have okay, well that's not, this is believable actually. Yeah, this actually isn't that bad. If I want, yeah, that's actually okay. Since the ID is going to be a number and it's going to be the same as the Y index, I actually don't need to do anything here. So I can go here and say test, say X, X1 will give me the name, X2 will give me the sprite, X3 will give me the AI script, X4 will give me the attack strength, 5 will give me defense, and etc. So if I go in here and say I want enemy 1's name, or 0, I guess, I can search for 1 in the, I'll search for 1, 0, because this is actually going to be the enemy's ID number. Okay, so that's good. So I can do a number loop, really. Or I could just do an endless loop until I run out of use values. Number loop is probably the simplest though. It's not called number loop though. What is it? Numeric loop. Sure. Why is loop in here? Did I already make that? I guess I did. Starting value 0, ending value. Start at 1, end at 3 for now. Increment by 1, okay. So I'll increase this to 5 or 6 or whatever when I add the rest of the enemies. This is kind of a dumb way to do this. I could honestly go through it linearly, and I wouldn't really lose anything. Because I mean, I have to have different events for each one anyway, because I can't refer to variables dynamically, or I can't refer to variable names dynamically. Yeah, so I guess I'll just do it linearly. I'll do it in a subscript though, to keep things clean. So this is I suppose I probably want to put these in like actors, so I can specify the actors. Or no, I said I was gonna use a small table for this, just so I don't have to keep reading the file all the time. And I can change the values dynamically, because I don't want to write the files, I just want to read them. So, write enemy data to table. table's going to be combat underscore data. And by default it will have no size, because it doesn't need to have size. So all the table events, we can resize the table, and then we can edit the elements or fill the table. We're going to edit the elements directly, I think. So we're going to say okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say is enemy1 blank. We don't actually need to say if see if enemy1 is blank, but we're going to anyway. Enemy1 is this equal to no things. Is enemy1 ID blank? And if enemy1 ID is blank, then or well, I suppose the smart way to do it is say, is it not blank? And say if it's not blank, then we will if it's not blank, then we do a thing. We resize the table. Resize the table. Clear it. Yes, on the first one. We give a next size of, so that's what we're using here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is what I'm using. So x is 7, y is 1, z is 1. And we will clear it the first time, because the first time we might have data in there. Actually, we probably won't, but we'll pretend we could. If that is equal to blank, then I don't know, I guess we just skip it. We'll just make this a very lenient script. So if combat data is, yeah, okay. So that happens, and then we want to do an axis loop. Axis loop? What are those? Table, combat data. Yeah, tell me, is that I need another loop. Table loop. Combat data, table loop. I think axis1 is x, probably, so that's probably fine, I guess. Starting point in x, starting point in y, starting point in z. All this is fine, I think. I'm going to loop through all those values. So loop should contain table loop is probably going to contain the value of each element in the table, which is not what I want. What I actually want is what I actually want is the number, because then I can cross-reference that with my file and get my data out of there. Oh, I just put words in my text document. Don't want to do that. Element of table. Okay, so combat data, value. So value is custom event, CSV element table. Table is test for now. I should not refer to this by name, probably. Unless I just want to call it test all the time, which I don't. Or I guess I could. I mean, you know, whatevs, I guess. Sure, whatever. Okay, and we're going to want X. No. This first one's going to be X, X0, actually. That's going to be the first row. Or well, it's going to be X. Enemy1 ID. You know, it's going to be Y enemy1 ID. It's going to be X. We'll start with 0, I guess. Yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah, because this is just basically going to be backup data. X1, does this not refer to 0, 0 of table 0, 0? It must not, which I thought it did. Which upsets me just a little bit, but that's alright. Because I thought it was 0, 0. That's fine. And I suppose the X value is going to be... I'm sure there's a way to get at the weird values in here. Because you can't really. I can say table, find in table. But I can't say give me underscore T0 or whatever. I could say table loop. I don't know if that's actually what I want, but I can say it. Okay. So that's going to do that. And that's going to fill out the first row. And the first row is going to be full. Right, okay. So then I basically just do it again for all the other enemies. In my case, I have 3. So, oh, come on. Alright, the bottom will be 3. Y3. It'll be on Y3. I need to edit this, so it's Y3. +1 thing with this, but that's not necessary, I don't think. Actually, a +1 might be okay. I might be able to do a +1, which is a good idea. Maybe I can't. Can I do table size? Table size. My data 2 +1. The first one can just set it to 1. That's fine because it's the first one. That's also semi-fine in there, but I want to change it. That'll return the size, or in other words, the last line in the table. Alright, so all I need in here, I need to set that to enemy2 ID. 0. Element table. 0 enemy2 ID. That's the X value. So I want that to be table loop as well, I think. Maybe. Hold on. I probably do want this to be table loop. Except maybe -1. Or I might want that to be +1. I probably want this to be -1. I don't know, I'll figure that out when it causes problems. I think that this is good. I think this is fine. So that's going to do all that. And I guess I want to test it now to make sure it works before I do anything else. Oh, it's still set to display log text, isn't it? Or maybe not. It might not be, actually. It might not be, actually. It might be okay. Let's try to begin the battle. So that guy is 0. This guy is 1. Front line, back line don't matter right now. So 0, 1, 0. We have errors. Not enough parameters. What do you mean not enough parameters? Also, why are there 2 of them? Oh, that's an old version. I see, I understand. Okay, 011 does not exist in table of size 711. Okay. So the issue is that we're just using table loop, and x needs to be table loop plus 1. Okay. And this is in begin bell. Subscript. That's fine. This is also fine. This is not fine. This needs to be table loop plus 1. They really all need that. Okay. Okay. So, now this should, in theory, work. Hopefully. Alright. Pop in here and look at my table. I have no values in my table. That's not correct. It's been resized. Clearly table loop is the wrong value. I need to pop into the debugger partway through and see how I can reference the current loop in the table. Pop in the debugger when that's triggered. Come on. Now I want to test again. And there's the debugger. Alright. RD1, RD2, RD3. Loop, table loop. G65536. 65537. 65538. Why are there so many of these? Ugh. This isn't telling me what I need to know. ME2 ID is 1. Yeah, that's correct. Loop and table loop are still both 0. So I believe the table loop gives me the value, the current value in the table. Unless I increment it myself, I think. Yeah, I think I actually have to implement increment the loop variable on my own. 65536 is now 2. 65535 is just gone. 2112. I don't know where that's coming from. 65536 is 2. Which this is the second loop of this value. There's going to be one more. Six five five three six is now 3. 65539 is now 3. 65536 is 3. So it looks like G65536 is the table loop number. I think so. I could also increment table loop, which is probably the better idea. And I think that's what I'll actually do, but you know, whatever. I should double check it after I do that though. So in each of these loops we want to also variable operation table loop add 1. Now why did that loop 3 times actually? Why did that loop 3 times? I thought it was supposed to loop 7 times. So it's supposed to go through all the values in a row. This is a concern, but I'll get to that in a minute. It's possible we may have gone more than 3 times if I continued. And I'm just an idiot or something. That's fine though. Alright, breakpoint. That's 0. Okay. Resume. Table loop is now also still 0. Why is table loop still 0? That's 2 though. Looks like this does go 7 times. G6, 5, 5, 3, 6. I think I need to use G6, 5, 5, 3, 6. I think that's what I have to do. So let's pop in here and say, okay, this table access loop. Right. Well, instead of table loop in this scenario, we want to use underscore G65536. Up here we want to use underscore G65536 -1. Right, okay. Because I think table loop is returning 0 because that's the value in each of the cells. Because apparently that's how tables work. Apparently. Yes. Okay. Let me actually just copy this into the others to test them and make sure they work. Oh, -1. Come on. There we go. There we go. This is also still set to be 1 ID. Set that to 3. Which is actually going to be the same result right now either way. But in the future it will not be the same result. So it needs to be fixed. Alright. Alright, we break here. 365536 is 1. G65536 is 2. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we look at combat data, and there's still nothing. Except that says 7. Which is progress, because that's what that says. So that's supposed to say 7 there. So that's progress, I guess. So here's the question: why did only the last number in the last line contain its value? And here's perhaps a better question. What happens if I set that to the other number? Is it actually correct because it's the real number, or is it correct by coincidence? Let's test it. Yeah, resume. Combat data. It's 3, okay. So, okay. This, I don't know what's up with my script, that it would only include that last value. I don't know what the deal is. Oh, also this should say enemy2 ID. Oops. Oops doodles. Oh, that's set to clear. That could be part of the reason. Don't clear after the first one. Honestly, the first one doesn't even really need to clear either. Because, I mean, these are all going to reset them anyway, so I could just not, delete it when the battle's over. Okay, yeah, this is fine. I should actually probably clear it. But I really don't need to. But I'm going to. And additionally, I should actually attach these to each other, because that's what they're supposed to do. This might actually work now. Well, it might work. It might maybe work. I should make sure that the same variable works for all of these, because I don't know a whole lot about these variables. The weird underscore variables. Six five five three six is 1. That's correct. Again, it's 2. Okay, so that's correct. I don't know what the other variables are. There's something alright. Come on. Alright. So the first line works. We have all the correct values from the first line. However, we only have the correct last value from the second and third line. So why is this? Just confirm that adds 1. Yeah, the table resizing is fine. You can time it clears at the beginning, so it can't affect anything else. Okay. Oh, and that still was doing its thing. So the variable actually might be incorrect. I don't know this, because I wasn't checking it on the correct breakpoint. So let's actually do that again. And also set this back to 0 for another roll test. Okay, so 65536 is 7. 65542 is 1. What are these numbers? There has to be a programmatic way I can get at this. Or I can make another loop variable and just reset it for each of these, which is probably the better way to do it. I was just hoping it would do it for me. Which seems to have worked for the first one, but not for the others. I guess it works when you're only dealing with one table. When I'm dealing with... well, I am only dealing with one table. We're only dealing with one loop, I guess. So yeah, quit there. I'll set this up to use a variable. That should just take a moment. I need a 3 temp loop. Yeah, that's fine. Yes. replace any instance of this with temp loop. Temp loop. New with temp loop +1. So what we have to do is reset temp loop to 0 before every one of these, and increment it by 1 in the loop. So temp loop, add 1. And then before each one we want to let's say temp loop set to 0. New from there up. Temp loop set to 0. And you I keep trying to type temp loop. That's not what I want to do. Temp loop set to 0. And then go in there. Alright. +1. And break into the debugger. There we go. And I think I just have to do this one and then we're good. I think so anyway. That should be it. Okay. So now this is properly set up. It should theoretically work. Variables table. It's still not working. First line is good, second line is not. It's the first value now, but not the rest. Oh, because I don't increment it for the others. Duh. I didn't add the thing to increment it because I'm a moron. This is what I want. Yeah. Add 1. New temp loop. Add 1. Okay. Now it should work. Yes, it works perfectly. Okay. So now that I have this data in this table, I can refer to it when I'm generating my enemies on the screen, and also during battle to check stats and whatnot, and calculate the status effects and all that other stuff. So here's the new question. What size do I actually want to make the table? Because before I complete the event, I want to know what size does the table actually need to be. So, besides this data, I also need to keep dynamic battle data, like, for example, status effects. I can I do also need to include, if I'm going to do like stat changes, I need to include this as a difference rather than by changing the values. So I'm going to need to include at the very least a difference value for each stat, that being 10, 5, 7. So we got attack, defense, speed, so we'll need attack difference, defense difference, speed difference. We're going to need a status effect, which is probably just going to be an ID number. And then, is there anything else? I think I can refer to most things as status effects. I do... here's the next question. How do I do multiple status effects? Do I say you can only have one status effect? Do I say you can have 3 status effects? Do I say you can have as many as you want? I don't know. Because with the differences, you can stack all the debuffs and buffs you want. But not with the... not with the status effects, because they're all a single line. So I could use a comma delimited string. That's a thing that I could do. But I don't really want to. It's not a thing I really want to do. I kind of also, I don't know, I'm intrigued by the concept of single status ailment. That's like Pokemon style status ailments. You can only have one, not counting a couple of special ones, but you can only have one. You can only have one that matters. So, I don't know, I could do that. I could do like a 2 effect thing. Maybe 2 effects is a good idea. That's an interesting concept, at least. It's a little bit different from the norm, anyway. Yeah, okay. Alright. So we'll do that. We'll do a maximum of 2 status effects. What's the reason for that, though? I can't just do that and say, hi, yeah, that's the thing. There's gotta be like a reason behind it, right? Make up some lore or something? I don't know. I don't think it really matters right now. But yeah, we'll do 2 status effects and stat differences, which means I want 5 additional columns. Which means I'm going to want 10, more than 10, 12 columns total. And that's assuming I only want, well, you know what I'm missing here? I'm missing HP. I'm missing health. And stamina / mana / MP / whatever. That's also worth noting. I should probably include some of those things. So that'd be 14 if I included HP and stamina. But I probably also want to include a difference for each of those. Do I want to bother with a difference? Maybe. Like an actual value for each of them is what I want. So let me just prototype this real quick. Maybe is this going to be visible on the screen? It might be. I will make it a little bit larger, just in case. Maybe. There we go. We got 18. That should be plenty visible. So if we have this, and we've got ID, name, sprite, have stats, we're going to do HP, and then MP, and then I guess we'll just do attack, and then defense, and then speed, and that will be our stats, I guess. Do we really need fancy stats? I don't think we do. And then we have our dynamic values, which include current HP, and then current MP, attack difference, there's spaces, attack difference, diff, attack diff, split diff, we have a status 1, status 2, and where did my cursor go? There it is. Status 3. And I think that's all we need. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, plus 2. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I know, I said I wanted 2 statuses. So that's fine. So that's 16 then. I'm not actually going to use that thing in there. None of this is going to be in the, none of that's in the file. This is the part that's in the file. This is the part we add dynamically, because it changes during the battle. Should we do diffs on the HP and MP? Like, can we go over maximum HP? But then is it like a slowly draining thing? It's an interesting concept. But is it fun? Would it actually work? I could probably make it work. Maybe MP's like a constant drain type thing. Like you start with so much and then it goes away as time goes on and you have to do stuff to keep it up, maybe? Yeah, so let's do that. That's an interesting concept and I'd like to experiment with it. So let's do that. We could theoretically overcharge our HP and our MP. And I will cut that. And I will paste that at the bottom of this file. So that it's there in case I need it later. But that should be... That should be fine as far as planning the table goes. I'm going later with Excel or whatever and fix it all up. Make it look all nice. And actually have like real enemy stats and whatnot once I know what I want my enemies to look like. so next step then, now that we know we can get all our values in the table, I suppose I should fix the table size. It's, what was it, 16 I said? So we say, we'll go in here and we say, begin the battle. Subscript, and the resize table should all have an X of 16. 16, no. 16, no. 16. 16, good, okay. Yes, no. No, actually. We only want these to be 9 because we're looping down the axis. Or axes, or whatever. Only after all that is done, we set table size to 16. So we'll go ahead and add this for enemies 4 and 5, because the plan is to have 5 enemies maximum by default. I could theoretically add more dynamically, but it doesn't need to be implemented right now. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Cool. So one prerequisite to all this is my table needs to be sorted in the correct order. Which means that it's not really a big deal. Just means I have to deal with it in the right order. It has to be properly sorted before I export it, or it's just not going to work. And then the X value is 16. Put no here. And Y size is... What does it include size normally? Why doesn't it, that is? Data dimension to... We're not doing +1 there because we don't need to add a line. Alright, okay. Interesting, okay. So that's the table setup. Well, I should do this as well. And then that one. And that one's the last one. Okay. So that's the table setup. Table setup is done. So what's the next step? The next step is actually showing things on the screen, I guess. Let's see, all these are diffs, statuses are 0, so that can all be initialized as 0, and that's fine. Okay. Okay, so next step here is actually generating the enemies on the interface. So subscript. I want to name it, please. Display enemies on interface. So to do this, I need the base sprite, because I'm going to be spawning more sprites based off the base. So let me go and add that. Alright, so this is our battle screen. Then we're going to have... So approximately in the middle of this, right about there, I guess, and then lower because it's in the front row. This is enemy 1. We'll do that, we'll do that. Your static sprite. Currently 32 by 32, I guess. It's a little small, but fine for now. And that's what everything else is going to be based off of. The position of this is 104.96. 104.96. I should probably write that down. 104.96. So everything else will be positioned based on this. So the guy to the left is probably going to be left a little ways and maybe up just a little bit. The right guy is going to be about the same thing. Over here and then up a little bit. And the back row is going to be like there. And then over here. Over there. Yeah, so we'll look 64.48, 144.48. And then like 40.88. 168.88. That's fine. Those are fine numbers. Not gonna remember any of them, but they're fine numbers. Is that actually... No, right in the middle would really be that, is what that would, the middle would be. Because then we got 3 squares on each side. I could do like a border around it. I don't think I want to do it for that area though. Okay. Alright. So... I think that's all I need to do for now. In there, at least. Because I'm going to base everything off that, and it's set up correctly. So to display the enemies on the interface, we are going to go through and we're going to say, well, I guess we just loop through our table, really. Yeah, we just do a table loop. Table loop. And we do want to play it for every element in the table. We don't want to play it for every element in the table. Do we want to? I don't know if we want to. Also, I need to initialize the speed collection at some point. Okay. Okay. We can do a table loop, that's fine. Variable X, variable Y, variable Z. This one actually uses numbers, I think. I think it does anyway. I hope it does. X, Y, Z. Oh, come on. X, Y, Z. Okay, so we get in here and we say, okay, we go through every element in the table. So we gotta say, when X equals 1, we're doing the first enemy. Or is it gonna start at 0? I think it's gonna start at 1. So We need multi-comparison range, because we need exactly 5 of these things. Well, we need a maximum of 5. I don't think having more than we need will be harmful. So variable 1 is 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. And so when x is 1, we're dealing with the first sprite. So we say, okay, we edit the existing field. So we say we want to change its sprite. Change sprite of field battle. Do it this way then. Change sprite and field enemy 1. Does enemy 1 work, or do I have to call it 3? I think enemy 1 will work. Maybe. I think enemy 1 will theoretically work. It might work. I might have to change the scripting ID. That's fine, though. And we give it the sprite. The sprite with the name of the element that we're pointing at. So we say element in table. Table this. X, Y, Z. So we give that sprite. Or well, we use Y, but we use X3. I can do so much of this dynamically. How do I... I really only need to do this once for each row, so I can use an X loop. Right, because I just need to go. Yeah. Yeah, that should be fine. Should be fine anyway. Which also means... I'm not 100% sure what it means. So combat data XZ is 2. Variable will be table loop because I don't need that anymore from the first one. X is 1, I guess, and Y is also 1, and Z is also 1. Should be fine. Yeah, that's fine. Because we just need one to run the script for X for each row, yeah. So I'm gonna use temp loop for this, I think. So we're going to say temp loop. I need to set it before we start. set it to 1 before the whole thing begins. But after everything, temp loop will add 1. So, first thing we want to do is temp loop 1. Because if temp loop is 1, then we want to not create a new sprite. We just want to go straight to changing the sprite, or create a new field. If not, then we want to spawn a field. Oh, I can unspawn fields. That could be handy. But I don't care enough right now. So we're looking at interface battle. Source is battle. Enemy 1. In theory, that should be correct. I can also do that. That might be more correct. Include associates. No. And spawn a field. So I need to use the big long list like I did in the other thing the other day. Yeah. Scripting ID is enemy and temp loop needs to be in quotes. And the location of the spawn field doesn't matter right now. So we spawn a field. Okay. So it's field, enemy, and temp loop. Change it to the appropriate sprite. We want to change the display name to the enemy's name for no particular reason other than I can. Is that not a thing? Name. Cannot change field names. Change text value. Spawn field, unspawn fields. Okay, well that's fine. That doesn't really matter. Oh, hello. Hello, 9 hellos. The work is going. Well, I'm making progress. It's better than nothing. Temp loop, spawn field, change sprite. I guess we really just need to add it to collection. I'll just include a message to myself to do that later because I don't want to do that right now. Add name and stuff to speed collection sometime. Cool. Is that all we need? Is that it? Is that all we need out of here? We spawn the field, we change the sprite. I really don't need to set anything else right now. I don't think so anyway, so I think that's fine. I think it's fine. I mean, we need to do the collection thing, but that's not important right now. So is that all we need for displaying them on the interface? I think it is. I think it is. Okay. So, the next step in the battle interface is, well, I guess once all the enemies are displayed and they're in the speed collection, I guess that's really it for setup for the battle, I think. Because their stats are in there and everything. What about the player? What do we have to do for the player? I do kind of like the idea of refilling the player's health every time battle begins. So I could do that. That's not a bad idea. I will include a subscript for this. Set up player things. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't know exactly what needs to be done in there. I probably am going to need to set up the party alignment, maybe. That'll be set up already. This might be good for initial setup to the battlefield, for the battle. I'm actually in between these. I need to start interface. Need to initialize. Nope. I'm not naming a subscript. A subscript, and then I want to name it. Initialize battle interface. Do that. And then do one of those, and then do one of these. Alright. So, right, enemy data table. Initialize the battle interface, which basically means open the interface, and I don't know if I need to do anything else. That's it for now. Battle. Display enemies on the interface. Let's actually reword this. Initialize enemies. Enemies. There we go. Initialize enemies, and then set up player things, which consists of nothing right now. I think that's it for now. I should make a couple of test sprites and actually test the thing to make sure it works, but it might be complete, maybe semi-complete anyway. Battle and enemies. Under enemies, I'll have test enemy 1. Test enemy 1. We'll have a sprite of some sort. You know, I actually have a sprite that I can use for this. Except it's 16 by 16. That's fine though. 16 by 6. I can fix that. Yeah, I'll just use this guy. I'm not gonna bother animating them all. Yeah, there we go. And then we need a test enemy 2, which will just be this. Oh, and auto-named it too. That's so good. I love it. That'll be Squareman. Okay. Circle man, square man, okay. You know what I didn't do? I didn't set the locations for enemy spawns. But before I do that, I need to know the coordinates. So let's see. Probably want to do one right there. So 48, 88, I'll write this down. 48, 88. Over here, 176, 88. 176, 88. And I guess we'll do one back there. That's fine, I think. So 80, 48. 80, 48. And 144, 48. 48. Okay. So that's all those guys positioned. Yeah, okay. By the look of it, it seems like we're going to be setting these to so like only yeah, it looks like we're basically just going to be limited to 5 enemies, and one of them, right. I'm not sure how I'm going to do like screen filling bosses, because that's a thing that I want to do, but I'm not sure how I'll implement that exactly. I suppose we'll just position the sprites funky in the sequencer and that'll be fine. Yeah, that'll probably be alright. Okay. So, alright. I'm not sure what the next step is. I suppose I need to just test the thing, I guess. I could do that from the map, because it's supposed to start the interface. And the interface is going to need to block out the map and also disable control and whatnot in the end, I suppose. So I can deal with that when the time comes, I guess. So let's actually use this even. Say, if we choose 1, we'll begin battle with 1 enemy 0. And front line, back line, I might just remove that. Oh, and I need to add enemies 4 through 5. Ah, that's the next step. Get out of here. Enemies 4 through 5. So remove enemy 1 position. Yeah. Enemy 2 position. Yeah. Enemy 3 position. Yeah. So they should all be numbers, I guess. So we just need enemy 4 ID, which is a number, and enemy 5 ID, which is also a number. I'll just set it so enemies 4 and 5 are the back row, and everybody else is the front row. And that makes some sense. Why is that initialized as 4 and that not initialized? Doesn't matter. So here we'll just do a 1 there, and maybe like a couple of zeros in the back. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually script it to show things. I should do that before I try to test it, shouldn't I? And this could be 3 zeros and 2 1s in the back. Ooh. Maybe this actually has 2 1s in the front and 2 zeros in the back. Oh, but I need to set it to text so that it doesn't default to 0. Also, field enemy 1 is not loaded. Apparently. We'll get there eventually. These should all be text so that they can have empty values. And save that. Yep. Okay, so the issue is that I wasn't recognizing enemy 1 as a source. Because I didn't call it enemy 1. Duh. Because I didn't call it enemy 1. I need to change its scripting ID so it's enemy 1, and then it'll work. Okay. Well, it's almost time to call it quits. But there's still a little bit left, so we were going to try this out first. What am I looking for? Scripting ID. Enemy 1. And we'll start here. Okay. 1. I chose 1. Change sprite element 000 does not exist in table that is of size 16.5.1. Oh no, that still has that, doesn't it? That still has that. Ooh, okay. So sprite is going to be 3. So we need 3, we need 3 temp loop plus 1, and 3 temp loop 0 in there. And that should then work. 3 temp loop 0. Because for sprite, it's always going to be in the third column. And then y is actually temp loop, and z is 0, because z doesn't matter. Or z is 1, actually. Z is not 0. I select an answer. I select 1. I chose 1. What's wrong now? Element 391 does not exist in table that is of size 16.5.1. Are you looking 9? Why is temp loop looking for 9? Why is temp loop 9? What is temp loop doing? Is it looking at the wrong axis? Temp loop shouldn't be going, it should only be going once for each row in theory. Well, it's set to 1 there. What's going on here? Hold up. What did I do? I don't know what I did. Temp loop is 1. Spawn a field. Oh, if temp loop is 1. Oh, because I didn't initialize temp loop. Duh. I'm a moron. I'm a moron. I need to reinitialize temp loop. Oopsie doodles. Temp loop. You are 1. Okay, now it won't be 9. I don't know why it was 9 to begin with, but it's not 9. It's not going to be 9 anymore. Okay, so that worked in theory. The sprites don't appear to have been set, though. Or they're not visible? They should be visible, then. Went through that 5 times. That's correct, I think. Okay, and obviously it doesn't work quite right because it's not quite right. But yeah, okay, well, the script has an error, which is a good thing. So I suppose next time, by next time I mean probably tomorrow. I think I'm going to be able to stream tomorrow. But next time I will attempt to make that actually work properly. And that will be a giant leap for this project. So yes, anyone who's actually here, thank you for watching. I don't think there is anybody here, but hey, thanks for watching anyway. And I'm ending the stream now once I can get to the OBS window. Hi, I found